All right, welcome guys to another episode of Dive into Real Estate Investing for Newbies podcast. Man, I have a special guest. A lot of people know him. He's been in this industry for a very long time, and I'm just excited to have him on. I'd like to welcome to the show, Alex Pardo. Welcome
What's
to the
what?
show, Alex.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I am good. I appreciate you just taking your time out to be on the show, Alex. And like I said, I've been following you. You've been having these dual matches with self-storages and mobile home parks and apartments and all that. And man, and Alex actually have his own podcast also. So I'll have that in the show notes for everybody to check out, man. It's been very, very helpful for me, good content. But Alex, man, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about your story, man. Where you're at in the States and how you got started.
Yeah, so born and raised here in Miami, Florida, which is where I currently live. I have, married. I have two little girls, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And my story, I don't say I come from humble beginnings. I come from a middle class family. My entire family's from Cuba. My sister and I were born in Miami, and my parents. I think they instilled in me very early on how important it is to have a strong work ethic. I certainly wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I don't necessarily have a rags to riches story either. So middle class family, and I remember I felt like I was always built a little different. I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. In fact, nobody in my family has ever been an entrepreneur. When I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I grew up playing baseball. I was always at the baseball park. And I specifically remember, Cecil, after these games, there was a baseball card vendor. And I would always head there with the intention to buy, collect, but then flip cards.
Hmm.
And so every Saturday I would buy and I would make an extra couple bucks, flipping cards. Fast forward, I made a little bit of money, fast forward to college, and something changed. I don't know if it was the allure or the prestige of being like a CEO or a CFO for a big company, but I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, not knowing and understanding what that actually meant. And so I started interviewing with companies like Johnson and Johnson, General Motors, General Electric, and I got it accepted by General Electric to work in their financial management program. So first time moving from Miami, I moved from Miami to Atlanta by myself, and I never forget 3 months into that job. You ever have those fork in the road moments where it's like you
Right.
got to go left or you got to go right? For me, this was one of those fork in the road moments in that I knew in my heart and in my gut that this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was averaging 70, 75 hours a week, just behind
Wow.
Excel and PowerPoint all day. And I've always been someone who's been pretty good at reverse engineering what I wanted in my life. And so I would look at my boss, I looked at her boss, all the way up the line to the position that I aspired to be in one day. And I was like, there's no way I want that. Like these people were basically like they just worked all day. And it just wasn't what I wanted for my life. And so I started to educate myself during that time. It was a 2-year program. I had made a commitment, and so I wanted to see that through. But I started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I bought a Carlton Sheets No Money Down course. And I was always attracted to real estate because I had read and heard that most millionaires got their wealth through real estate. And so it just made sense to me, and I liked this. So during those 2-year period, I educated myself, and then I finally January 2005, I fired my boss. I says, "Hey, this is not for me. I really
Hmm.
appreciate the opportunity. I'm gonna go do my own thing." So I moved back to Miami, 25 years old, now living in my parents' house. Not a good look. And so that was a big motivating driver for me. I said, I got to figure out what I want to do with my life here. And so I went backpacking around Europe. I was at an internet cafe in Ibiza, and a buddy of mine invited me to a marketing for deals boot camp, which was happening in a month. Now, keep in mind, man, I had funded my entire backpacking trip on a credit card. I didn't have any money. It was $997, which could have felt like $997,000. I mean, that's how
Right.
much money it was to me at the time. But I had to do something. And so, dude, I did that. I went to the boot camp. I learned about how to market for deals. I didn't have much money, so I plucked out a pre-foreclosure letter from the manual that they gave me at the boot camp, and I started making photocopies. It was so ghetto that you could see like the black 3 ring. It was
Right.
that's
Right.
how ghetto. So, dude, I sent out 300 and something pre-foreclosures letter. About 2.5 months later, we ended up closing a deal that was 44 grand, and
Wow. So that was
that's
your
how
first deal
that was
worth
my
in there.
first deal. It was a short sale, And I brought in a partner because I was scared. I had some fear. I didn't know what I was doing. And so that was a big lesson learned. But I brought in a friend who we partnered on it. We made 44 grand. And that was my first deal, man. It was a pretty big one.
Yeah,
I
man,
don't
that's
want to I
awesome.
don't want to give the impression that they're all $44,000 deals because that's not the
Right,
case.
right.
But that was my first deal.